this first so I can get a full scope. A full scope.
Drake is now suing Universal, and we are now in federal court. This case is just getting crazy.
Like, I always like to hear, like, if you're a lawyer, I would like to hear an intake from a lawyer's perspective. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna try and not pause as much. But let's keep it moving.
Crazier and crazier. Break-in attempts. People are shooting at Drake.
He's got a music attorney as well. Or is that the name of a podcast? I think this makes a lot more sense because if she's really a top music attorney, oh, I'm definitely reacting. Because obviously you got attorneys that specialize in certain things that may not have the knowledge to be able to say, this is what this means, this is what that means. Do you know what I mean? They may think it's this, but it's something else. Like, because I remember when studying music, I remember there was a clear difference. If you're going to sign a contract, get a music entertainment lawyer. You know what I mean? Get a music entertainment lawyer, not any lawyer. They have to specifically have the skills and the knowledge when it comes to music. But anyway, let's keep it moving. Let's go.
Drake and his family. Drake just has personal knowledge of how Universal does its deals. I'm focusing on what's not here, which are the claims against the progression of this story and case.
Miss Krystle. All right, shut you up still.
With a verified petition.
And if you're watching, I hope, or if a team is watching, I am only watching this to react to the content, to learn about this information. Because you obviously reacted, so it's my turn to react. And I did say I wanted more details on and I will go layer by layer. I'm intrigued to know so I can actually have a clear knowledge. Because I did find out something else, and it was something to do with, obviously I found out, put it this way, I thought it's more to do with a civil lawsuit rather than a criminal lawsuit. Because I'm thinking if it's defamatory, I thought it has to be criminal because of what's being alleged. But it's like, and I disagree with it as a whole anyway, but from an understanding perspective, that's what I'm thinking about. What do you think? Leave an answer in the comments below. Is it criminal or civil, or is it both? But I find that I still could be wrong because I'm going to find it here. I think it's to do with civil, and he wants settlement. He wants a proper retirement check. That's what he wants. And I don't think he's going to get that. He's going to get retirement in jail. Like, I've said it before. Yeah? I've said it before. Like, he got this year, I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but it really looks like it's gearing towards that. The same way you can watch sports, and then you can see the way that someone is playing. You can tell, for example, in football, like, I know some of you may call it soccer, but like, you can tell if a team is like literally going forward, they're attacking, they're going forward, attacking, they're passing fast, they're switching play quickly, they're crossing the ball inside the box. You know what I mean? I'm trying to look for a better word. You know what I mean? You can tell they're just peppering them, basically. They're peppering them. You can tell that they would eventually score. If they don't score, it's either pure luck that they don't score, pure bad luck, let's say, that they don't score, or it's a case of do you know what I mean? I don't know, good defending or good goalkeeping. It's one of those two. You know what I mean? But from a Chelsea perspective, there's some players that don't know how to take their chances. No disrespect to Chris Jackson, but anyway, let's keep moving.
That Drake had filed at the state court level in New York. And this thing was not like an official complaint, right? It is something that you get to file in New York to say, I am conducting discovery, meaning I'm trying to get evidence. And what Drake was trying to get evidence for was to prove that Universal had worked in cahoots with Spotify to inflate Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us song, in that the song was not as popular as we all thought, and in fact it was like a fabricated marketing campaign of success. And so then two updates happened. One, Drake voluntarily withdrew that petition. It's like, that's interesting. Why? Well, then we get hit right after that with an actual lawsuit, which was filed in federal court. And it is not for...
And you know what's funny? It's interesting how he's trying to do back to back with a lawsuit. Do you know what I mean? What he should have done was double back with another diss song. It said waving a white flag. Do you know what I mean? That's what he should have done. Or even if he didn't want to wait, even if he didn't want to make another diss song, he could have just easily just said, you know what? You won. You know what I mean? There's no shame in saying that someone else won. No shame. You can say, you know what, you won. Cool. You got me on it. You got me this time. You know what I mean? But it was a great battle. It was great for hip hop culture. It was great for the music industry. You know what I mean? And then obviously he could apologize and say, no, I apologize for disrespecting your wife. I didn't mean to. You know what I mean? It's just heat of the moment. This, that. Like, even if he's not sincere, at least it would have been of something. You see what I'm trying to say? But anyway, let's keep moving.
For what you think. Hey guys, I'm a music attorney. I specialize in all things business law, intellectual property, and I'm a musician myself, so that's why I have a music business channel. I've been doing this for 10 years, and this case is just getting crazier and crazier. Drake is now suing Universal only, didn't actually name Spotify, and we are now in federal court in New York. So here's the thing. This is how the complaint starts. In the middle of the night, on May 7, 2024, an armed group of assailants drove up to the Toronto house in which Drake and his family resided. Drake was inside. The car stopped in front of the residence. Someone yelled, "Fuck Drake," and at least one gunman began to open fire. One bullet went through the security gate and hit Drake's front door. Another bullet struck and wounded a security guard who was also one of Drake's friends. The car drove away. Drake and the others in the house summoned help for the security guard and did everything possible to keep him alive. During the nearly 30 minutes it took for the ambulance to arrive, Drake and others labored to keep the man alive by applying pressure to the...
Yeah, I'm glad you actually got a copy of this lawsuit. It's now making me understand a lot more. So from what I'm seeing, it seems very much, obviously she's going to go into much more detail, but like, it seems very much the case that because of that incident that happened that night, he's basically blaming UMG for pushing out that content, for the narrative, for YouTube reactors or whatever, or content creators and that pushes out the agenda for them to attack Drake or any of his peoples. But that doesn't make sense because neither one of those content creators that was mentioned so far, then she may make their name more, but like they're not Canadian. They don't. I know for a fact most of them are not based in Canada. Do you understand? I'm not saying they don't have links to Canada because I do not know. But the reality is always going to be you cannot think for a second that it has everything to do with Kendrick Lamar. Like, if he really thinks that people are going to believe that, like Kendrick said, paint the narratives how you want. Do you know what I mean? Hey, Drake, they're not slow. You know what I mean? They're not slow. Anyway.
The gunshot wound with towels. Blood was everywhere. So the beginning of this complaint, which is in regards to how Universal has allegedly defamed Drake, starts with this extremely dramatic narrative. So basically, there were break-in attempts, people are shooting at Drake and his family, and then the complaint goes in the 2 decades leading up to this event. Although Drake was consistently in the public eye, nothing remotely like this had ever happened before. These events are not coincidental. They immediately followed and were proximately caused by Universal's actions leading up to May 4th, 2024. Okay, so my law firm represents a whole bunch of creatives, right? Not just musicians, but like creators of all types. And defamation is one of those things that comes up because if you're in the public eye, you're going to be on social media and then something happens and then you talk about that something and then someone's like, you talked about me and you named me, and defamation. So we hear words.
I'm glad that she mentioned that. I'm glad. This is what I said earlier. Like you know how there's some lawyers and there's or attorneys that specialize in something, but they may not have certain credentials or experience or whatever in one particular thing. But the fact that she mentioned with her line of work, defamation comes up a lot, and it's not just for music artists. It's for create like content creators or whatever. Or she said creators, right? So I'm glad she mentioned that, and I'm glad that she's letting people know that at the end of the day, she let people know she's got knowledge. Basically, when someone says that, like I like the way she painted it, but also if you're seeing the way that Drake's attorney is in general, when you're hearing her read this, you can see they're trying to paint a narrative. But what's not being said is what happened on the day that Drake released push-ups. Do you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure, like, and I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I hope for the sake of the stream and the sake of the situation, I hope I'm wrong. If I can even turn my phone on there. All right, cool. Hope I'm wrong. Where is it? Let's see. What's his name? Executive. Where is it? Drake. April. Let me see. I'm trying to see. No, that's not what I was thinking of. Let's just keep it playing. I'm gonna
Words like defamation, slander, you say stuff, right? That is communicated to a third party. It doesn't have to actually be like a public post, a press release. It can actually be a publication of something that someone said, even in a private message, is a publication to a third party. That is not true. That is the most important thing, because I have clients who are like, Krystle, I want to talk about, this situation. And I go, well, understands that you discussing this online can elicit someone to sue you. It's a free country. Anyone can sue you. But the best defense.
All right, give me a second. I just need to see something. So, all right. So look at this here. So Drake released push-ups on April 19, 2024. April 19, 2024. Let me see. There was an incident. Let me see. There was an incident that happened on that day. I can't remember exactly. Let's see. If I can't find it, it's fine, because I've been on the stream for quite a minute, so I'm gonna make sure that or let me try this. Anyway, let's keep it moving. I don't want to.
Defense to a defamation claim is, well, the truth. All right, so in the complaint, the song Not Like Us, written and performed by Kendrick Lamar, the recording was intended to convey the specific, unmistakable, and false factual allegation that Drake is a criminal, pedophile, and to suggest that the public should resort to vigilante justice in response. Notwithstanding its knowledge that the allegation.
When you think about it, this is why I'm glad I watched most reaction videos, especially when the names that they mention. I think apart from the Cartier family, but I haven't seen their reaction to it. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, and no one said to be a vigilante and do your own thing. Nah, they didn't say that. From what I recollect, listen. I don't recall them saying something like that. I could be wrong. Like I said, I could be wrong, but sometimes with things like that, when they know, I don't know how to explain it, man. It's just one of those things where Drake is just, his lawyer is trying too much. You know what I mean? His lawyer is trying way too much. You know what I mean? All right, listen.
Allegations are fabricated. Starting in May of 2024, Universal waged an unrelenting campaign to spread recording, images, videos, hereafter the defamatory material as
Hang on, didn't Drake also use an image of Kendrick Lamar's car? Well, not his car, but a car from his childhood. Yeah, everyone, if you're a Kendrick Lamar fan, you know what car I'm talking about. You know that van that I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Didn't he try to depict that in a way that was something that was leading towards violence? And by the way, anyway, I won't say anything else more. I'm just thinking that aloud. I'm just thinking that aloud. Let me know.
widely as possible, right? So this is where we get into the whole, what's the allegations? I mean, there's like tens of millions of streams that were fabricated by Universal. Universal's in cahoots with Spotify. The piece of Drake's original petition, I think Drake just has personal knowledge of how Universal does its deals. I believe that Drake is like spilling the tea on Universal and being like, well, I know they did this because they did it for me. I mean, I imagine that's how he knows how Universal does this.
The irony of this, yeah, like no one that sees a music attorney, yeah, it's so ironic, yeah, that no matter what I watch, no matter what I react to, no matter what I read, no matter what I listen to, when it comes to this, even at the beginning stage for the petition thing, most people were saying the same thing. Most people were saying, but they do it for you. But at the same time, as much as they have done that for him, I don't think it's to the extent that Drake is thinking. Like some things are just so super organic. Because I remember when Euphoria came out, in fact, before that, when Push Up came out, everyone was saying drop, drop, drop. Even academics was tweeting drop. How many days left? Hasn't dropped yet. How many days? This how many days? Hasn't dropped. You know what I mean? And then what's his name? Then Drake ended up doing that this where Tupac's estate had to warn Drake to take down that song. Do you know what I mean? Because of the AI of Tupac using Tupac's voice. So it's the thing of when you think about it from that point of view, it's like he was that the whole point of that. Like I get why he did that. I don't agree with it, but I get why he did that. He was trying to push Kendrick Lamar to respond because in his mind he was taking very, very long. However, when you think about it, Kendrick Lamar ended up releasing this is when there were like different AI versions of diss songs there. Some people thought it was Kendrick, some people thought it was Drake when it wasn't. But yeah, some people thought it was Drake, some people and I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I'm gonna make sure I know it's actually from them. I'll go to their channel and find that there. And then I remember the timeline. I remember when Kendrick released Euphoria. Everyone, like some people who are not Kendrick Lamar fans, by the way, they were like, "Oh, it's too slow. It's not good for this song. It's a poor this song, this, that, and the third." Because they wanted the bop. That's what they really, really wanted, right? But if you listen to it, you can see how it actually links to what's happening right now. Yeah, like it links to everything he said in that song. It links to exactly what's happening right now. Drake is spiraling. The famous actor we once knew is spiraling. And then even at the beginning, where he samples the Wiz, where he mentioned Richard Pryor's character says, in reverse, by the way, it's in reverse, he says, everything they say about me is true. You see what I'm going to say? Because what Kendrick is alluding to is he's going to be telling truths about Drake. And then he also went into to say, tell no lies about me, and I won't tell truths about you. But then, as far as the allegations, he didn't say it outwardly. This is what Drake doesn't understand. You know what I mean? Kendrick's such a lyricist. He made it seem like, because he knew this potentially could happen. I feel like Kendrick knew in a way that this potentially could happen. I don't know why. I just feel like he potentially knew. I feel like he potentially knew that this was going to happen. You know what I mean? But then obviously when he made Not Like Us, that was a bop, and everyone just drew to it. Like when Family Matters drops, and then afterwards, I remember I woke up and I realized, wow, Kendrick has dropped. I'm reacting to it straight away. I ain't gonna be delayed. Let's keep it moving. Let's go.
This stuff. And so he goes, well, I think now they're doing this for Kendrick Lamar. And then, guys, here's my biggest piece here, which is you have Drake suing Universal for defamation. Drake, why aren't you suing Kendrick Lamar? If these statements were so detrimental and you are saying that the direct result of the statements that were made was that then these injuries, these threats, these assaults resulted. Now I get the argument. You go, well, Universal fanned the flame. Universal went the extra mile and basically is like secondarily liable for what Kendrick said. But why aren't you suing Kendrick? Now, I mean, I think I know why. I can assume why. But it's like, if you're going to go this route anyway.
Hey, listen, her facial expression basically said it all. Her facial expression said it all. I think I know why. Like, you know what I mean? And obviously she's being careful with what she's saying here because she's a lawyer. She understands that. You know what I mean? But George.
Basically, he's like secondarily liable for what Kendrick said. But why aren't you suing Kendrick? Now, I mean, I think I know why. I can assume why. But it's like, if you're going to go this route anyway, to the extent that you care about like public opinion, it's not necessarily the best look if you are like dealing with someone saying stuff about you in this kind of beef by then suing them. I mean, the other consideration here is that obviously Universal has deep pockets, right? To the extent you can get settlement or you can get a judgment. I mean, cool. But equally, Kendrick Lamar, deep pockets. But I mean, you know, to be fair, Drake took his shots too against Kendrick Lamar. I guess I'm just curious whether this is you just don't want to poke the bear again. I don't know if this is the right analogy, but you have a boyfriend cheats on you. And instead of getting...
She's right. She doesn't want... Drake doesn't want to poke the bear again. He doesn't want to go against Kendrick again. But what he's not realizing is he's still going against Kendrick. It's just in a way, because think about it, I feel like this is the way this is lined up here. It's lined up in a way where Kendrick, he doesn't want, because of Kendrick, we know Kendrick is going to be performing at the Super Bowl, right? Next month in February. The irony is yeah. So it's like, and the irony is, I think it's the same weekend as the Grammy Awards as well. So I feel like what he's trying to do is like let the record labels and everyone know that basically the record labels, he basically wants to ban that song, basically. That's what he's trying to do. Like, it's bigger than that. I think he's trying to get a huge retirement payday. Yeah, that's one thing. Because if he cared about his music career, he wouldn't be doing this. Let's be real. And then what's the other thing? And then I feel like at the same time with Kendrick Lamar, he's like, I don't explain it, man. Let's keep it moving. But he definitely doesn't want more smoke with Kendrick. He just doesn't. He's scared to say his name.
Being mad at your boyfriend, you get mad at the other chick. So, I don't know. For those of you who have been following this a lot more closely, because I usually just don't get involved in like beef stuff, and I try to focus on the law and lawsuits. Maybe you have more context. Leave a comment down below. Okay, so going more through the complaints. Universal and Drake, long partnership. Okay, we know that. In fact, you know, as far as friend, you get mad at the other chick. So, I don't know. For those of you who have been following this a lot more closely, because I usually just don't get involved in like beef stuff, and I try to focus on the law and lawsuits. Maybe you have more context. Leave a comment down below. Okay.
That's exactly what I would do. I'm going to leave my comment in the comments below because I definitely know more to it. You know what I mean? From what I know, I don't know all the facts, but from what I know from following the timeline, you see what I'm saying? Because what I do know is that this beef has been brewing. It's been, in fact, it's been marinating. You know what I mean? The beef has been marinating for years. For years. Especially since that controversy, yeah? It's let Drake be in his feelings. He always felt like he's better than Kendrick Lamar. And that's fair. It's fair. You know what? Listen, as a music artist, you're especially as a hip hop artist, you're supposed to have that feeling of competitive nature, being like, I'm better than this person. You know what I mean? You're supposed to. It's fine. It's fine. That's just the nature of it, right? And because even there's a situation with there's a song that Get and Dave may release. I don't know. They may. I hope they do. But there's this thing where I haven't seen it fully, but there's this thing where there's this competitive nature where he thinks he outshined that person when they say, no, I outshined that person. You know what I mean? It's like, it's that competitive spirit. It's that nature, like, no, I'm the best. No, I'm the best. No, you get it. But anyway, that's what it really should have been. But that in this case, I feel like Drake, the way it's playing out, it now seems more and more like Drake feels like he's bigger and better than everyone. And not in the way that you think. There's that one person in school, yeah, where they think it's like they got all the money. You can tell they're that kid that's got money because of their parents or whatever, yeah. But people only gravitate towards that person because they got money, because they got access to these games and this, that, and the other. That's the only reason why they have those friends, yeah. But if they didn't have those friends, their personality, do you know what I mean, is something where they wouldn't deal with them if anything. You get it? Drake is that type of person. That plain and simple. You know what I mean? But anyway, he doesn't really. Anyway, let's keep moving.
Okay, so going more through the complaints. Universal and Drake have a long partnership. Okay, we know that. In fact, as far as all their great marketing tactics, I'm sure it helped you out a little bit as well. Universal has licensed and published rights over Kendrick Lamar's music, and, I think part of the allegation is that the last deal that Universal did with Kendrick in the hundreds of millions of dollars, they're coming up on the time to maybe redo a deal, and so we want to go the extra mile for Kendrick. So therefore, the diss track, Not Like Us, Not Real, popularity was all boosted by the label. Okay, so again, the tattling method here of like, Kendrick did the thing, but Universal published it. Pursuant to the actual release, it says the exclusive license to the song is Interscope, which is a division of Universal. Within the first minute of the song,
Hold on, wait.
we
I was
hear
talking about these are what was it? I want to read that.
Universal. Within the first minute of the song, we hear published it. Pursuant
He meant the title. He mentioned title. See, now, if Jay-Z still owned title, I don't think Drake would mention title, or would he? I don't know. But the amount of times I played Not Like Us on title is because that's the type of tune I like to work out to. I haven't worked out in a while, but that's the type of tune. In fact, titles even reminded me, is Kendrick Lamar still going to be your number one artist of this month? That it keeps on reminding me. I promise you it does. All right? But anyway, let's go.
To the actual release, it says the exclusive license to the song is Interscope, which is a division of Universal. Within the first minute of the song, we hear Drake has a predilection for underage women, quote, say, Drake, I hear you like 'em young, end quote. You better not ever go to cell block 1. The recording continues to say that any woman who falls in love with Drake should be careful to, quote, hide her little sister from him. Okay, it goes on. Universal published through these different places, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon. The images feature aerial view of.
This is wild, man. This is wild. He's really taking it there. And the thing is, I feel like saying, "Hey Drake, I heard you like him young." That's very elusive, if that makes sense. And it's very elusive. There's no way you could really. And okay, you could say to anyone like with Drake, just hide your little sister. Again, elusive because you know what I mean. Drake is. I don't know how old is Drake. So let's imagine he's like 40. I don't know. And then he could just say young to him would be 39. Again, I know maybe 1 year. Young could also be 25. Do you know what I mean? But then also, if you're talking about little sister, like there's so many ways to play this, yeah. In yeah, the little sister thing is like, think about it. Like you could be, or let's say the woman is 25, the little sister could be 21. In fact, wasn't he not with Lato's sister, or whatever her name is, Lato's sister? How old was she? Was she not young? Okay, I rest my case. Let's go.
Of Drake's Toronto home, including identifying information regarding the location of the home, and it covers in the icons used by law enforcement and public safety applications like Citizen to identify child sex offenders and their residences of public registries. Okay, so going back to the law, is what was said in the song true or was it false? So Drake in the complaint states the defamatory material is false. The allegations against Drake are unequivocally false. Drake has never been charged with, indicted for, or convicted of any charges of sexual violence or assault, including but not limited to sexual violence against a minor. Nor
As of this date, 16th of January 2025, not yet. However, I will say this, and I will say this very carefully, and what I'm going to say. No one's going to really admit, you know what I mean, to that. And you're not hearing him say it. We're reading him say it. Do you know what I mean? Or basically, this woman is reading, this lawyer, she's actually reading it, and we're hearing it. And it's like, I'm not being funny here, but like, you see those icons here. Yes, we know what it means, but you have to understand if those people that he's talking about in the song, let's say, for example, when he says, and Buffer got a weird case, why is he still around? He does have a weird case. Is he lying? Like, I mean, if you think about the context of what the case is about, those icons are absolutely necessary. Anyway, but I will say this: let's just see how this transpires, because then it does put whatever the case is. I don't know. Art is art in it, and you can interpret art in many different ways. They say a picture speaks 1,000 words. How do you interpret it? Leave your answer in the comments below. Let's go.
or has Drake ever engaged in an inappropriate, romantic, or sexual behavior with a minor? Okay, so the complaint goes on, not just
I showed evidence of that, but anyway, let's keep moving.
to talk about the song itself, but also the video. Kendrick Lamar is depicted in front of shipping containers with air conditioning units inside. These images are associated with sex trafficking. There we go.
Nah, wait. Even I was reacting to this video on my other channel, by the way. I had no idea what this meant. Do you understand? I had no idea. No idea. Obviously, I thought him doing the hopscotch saying, and then doing a saying, and you're hearing the over the part where he says, you're trying to strike a chord, and there's probably a minor. And obviously, if he's online trying to strike a chord, you know what I mean? Anyway, let's keep moving. But this part here, I had no idea. No idea. And again, Kendrick is not saying it outwardly. Even that part when you mentioned about trying to strike a chord, probably a minor. You're talking about the online trolling. Do you understand? And when you think about the it's a double entendre. I think there's a triple entendre when it comes to that part. Because obviously you got the piano chords, yeah. Then you got the chords of, yeah, you got minor as in children are minor. But at the same time, when he's talking about trolling, you know what I mean? There are trolls that, when I say trolls, not that instigating or doing what like 50 does or whatever. No, I'm talking about that. I'm talking about trolls as in like 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 dolls basically. Trolls like because I remember one of my sisters, they had trolls, like, you know what I'm saying? I remember. They're like, I don't know, they're like that small if I remember. But anyway, and that why there. In fact, there's a movie called Trolls, funny enough. Let's go.
Includes allusions of Drake's OVO brand, which is represented by an owl, in combination with the lyrics "wop wop 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 dot fuck 'em up." The video shows Lamar beating an owl-shaped piñata with a bat. During the scene, a caption appears at the bottom of the video that states, disclaimer, no OV hoes were harmed during the making of this video. So the complaint just goes, right, so again, Kendrick Lamar is the one that said the things that caused all the bad outcomes, but
She wants to laugh so badly. You can tell she wants to laugh so badly.
Universal spread the defamatory material, deceived consumers. Because I go back to, remember, this whole thing started by just saying, well, we think Universal has unfairly botted, boosted, inflated the success of the song. And now it's a completely different approach. It's you, Universal, are the reason. I mean, it doesn't say you're the reason Kendrick Lamar wrote this song, but you're the reason that I was harmed by the song. Essentially, taking Drake's side for 2 seconds and being like, I mean, what's your expectation here, right? You're saying censorship. You're saying that if there was something in here that may have been harmful to, a person of some kind, that a label should basically step in, no can do, I'm not releasing this, right? Just.
But, all right, look. I remember there was a time, it's like a few years ago, where Leo Cohen, no, Dame Dash was having to go at Leo Cohen because he always felt like you're signing artists from the hood that are in sticky situations, but they remain in the hood. So what ends up happening is, I can't remember verbatim, but he mentions, do you know what I mean? There's situations that happen, and if they're going through, they're actually genuinely having beef. Do you know what I mean? So my thing is, it's so weird how this case really is. And again, even just going through this here, he ain't got a leg to stand on, bro. I can't even lie to you. I'm not just saying that out of the fact of I want UMG to win or I don't like Drake. It's got nothing to do with that. If you go purely on the facts, let's go purely on the facts. Drake doesn't have a leg to stand on in this case. Because you're saying, like, what? Because if he was to say, oh, this part of the song where he specifically says this line, and then the YouTube reactors also said this specifically, then you could say, all right, fair enough, you're still snitching, but fair enough. But everyone is not saying that. You get it? So it's like, what are you really trying to say, that you got harmed because of this? Like, man up, bruv. Like, man up. Look, even Ja Rule, yeah? Even Ja Rule is able to man up and just move on with his life. Do you get it? And he's not the only one that's had beef in hip hop. Nas, Jay-Z, like, we know that battle. They ended up becoming not friends, but like, do you know what I mean? They're cool with one another. I mean, Jay-Z may be petty now and again, where he may release something on a day Nas wants to release something. I'm still waiting for that day when Nas drops an album and then Jay-Z releases an album the same day. I'm still waiting for that, but it is what it is. In this day and age, cold. It will be cold. And then to flip it, both of them on the same song. there's one song that's not on the album, but then they release a deluxe of the album and it has both of them on it. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, that would be cold. Anyway.
Just in the music distributor front, you guys are constantly reaching out because you go, music distributor refused to release my song because they said, well, it's too political, it's too religious, it is offensive, there's hate speech. Like, there's something where a distributor will say, I'm not going to release this because, hey, I'm like a music distributor, I really don't want to get sued for you little artist using my platform. And so then we go, okay, well, what do you think about that? But then on the flip side, if someone is truly releasing something that is like hate speech, that's talking about like your personal address and putting you in harm's way, I think that's fair. I think that there is a good argument for that. I just go, I'm focusing on what's not here, which are the claims against Kendrick Lamar directly. Okay, but the inflated plays thing, it does actually.
But here's the thing, even with that whole situation, I didn't, when I first saw it, I'm pretty sure I can't remember if I said I knew where that place was. But here's the thing, if it's public knowledge that your place is called the embassy, because even the funny thing is, even in another song, he mentions that the embassy is about to get raided. It's got not, anyway. There's no talk about if he mentioned every single song, I would get it. I would understand it, even if he talked about himself. But he hasn't, and he won't.
Actually exists in here. In the beginning of the lawsuit, it's like factual background, what's our evidence, all the good stuff. And then it gets into counts. So it's what the actual counts are. So we have count 1, defamation per se. So here are the elements and how we apply the facts to the count. And so we go, Universal published a statement, right? Looking for the word, there it is, false. A statement that was false. Okay, and it could have reasonably foreseen that these statements, right, could be no good for Drake. Universal intended to make the false statements and publicly promoted it and did all the things. The statements UMG published about Drake are reasonably understood to state and imply that he, and it goes on, pedophilia, sexual crimes. These statements, in fact, are false. Okay, so they go through that. So that's count 1. Count 2. Harassing in the second degree. Universal engaged in a course of conduct and repeatedly committed acts which alarm and seriously annoy plaintiff. UMG published, promoted, and profited from a coordinated campaign to smear, threaten, discredit plaintiff despite plaintiff's protests. Threats of violence, intentional motive, of financial gain. Okay, and then lastly, this is the callback to, where we all started on this, right? So lastly, pursuant to local New York law, defendant engaged in deceptive acts and practices in the conduct of business by covertly financially incentivizing third parties to play, stream, and promote the song, not like us, and then by making materially false and misleading representations of the song's popularity to consumers. So there we go, right? So they go through a little.
I can't believe this is happening. I still can't believe this is happening. This can't be real, like this can't be real, can it? Can it really be real?
Little discussion about it, and then the prayer for relief. So just so you know, at the very end of the complaint, this is where we throw in, we go, so court, this is what we want you to do. We want, usually it's like an injunction, but in this case we want, well, and actually here, look, I'll give Drake a moment, right? So he goes, we want nominal damages. All right, well, normally it goes, we want millions of dollars, sue them for the world. So we want nominal damages. We want compensatory damages. We want our consequential damages. We want our attorney's fees. We want punitive damages because bad faith, right? This was so egregious. We're entitled to like an amount above and beyond to punish them and make them an example to the rest of the world. We want declaratory relief stating that the statements published and promoted were false. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do because this is a 91-page complaint, is that if you guys want me to literally go through this in my long-winded, spirited fashion, drop me a comment down below. If I get enough comments saying that you want me to actually go through the entire complaint, I will. I'm sure you guys are going wild already in the comments. So I'll see you on the next one. I'm top music attorney, Miss Krystle.
I'm pretty sure she probably has. I hope she has, because I will react to it. But probably another day though, probably tomorrow or something, because there's clearly a lot that's going on. or there's a lot that's going on. So anyway, let me just subscribe to a channel because 2025 is gonna be a very interesting year. That's all that I'll say. So like so it says Drake hangs with a guy called Top 5. He says he's going to unalive Kendrick Lamar, but somehow he's terrified now. Do you see what I mean? Do you see what I mean? Like, I'm just so glad there's people out there that can actually show this or mention this, because I'm telling you, he's such a hypocrite. He's a hypocrite. And this is how I know this is basically, he's not going to win this. Anyway, he's basically throwing a tantrum because he wants UMG to prevent Kendrick from releasing his song, while Drake himself should be allowed the privilege to say whatever he wants without censorship. He's an industry puppet that wasn't given the unfair privileges. He used to use to, so he decides to sue. All of them is from the boy who said that his crew plotted for a week and fed Kendrick the information. All right. So what was that? Hold on. The funniest part is where he claims the song is calling for colonizer. All right, this is why I need to read the full thing. But anyway, I'm gonna say, wow, even Harvey Late, what's his name? And okay, Harvey, and I'll do that another day. That's just too much. It's just too much, too much. This a full breakdown of what happened is Drake got in his feelings and now he is throwing a tantrum thinking this is the best move when this is not going to end well for him. On that note, take care. I wish I could do the eye emoji. Oh, can I? Hang on. Do you know what I mean? Also, I can use emojis. I always wondering, can I use emojis on this thing? But now I can. I just realized. I'm going to remember to do that from now on. But anyway, listen, I've got more to react to than that. But before we even get into more of the whole Drake situation, I'm going to react to some football news for now, all right? So make sure you stay tuned, because too much Drake is like reacting to too much Drake stuff is giving me a headache, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's good, like, not giving me a headache. That's a wrong saying. Like, I feel like mixing it up. Do you know what I mean? Because from the beginning, it's been about Drake. You know what I mean? So I think it's time to now just focus on something else. All right? So anyway, let's just react to something different.